Hello everyone, my name is Muskan Chawan and I am from BVCOEW IT department. Today we are here to discuss some concepts about Unit 5th, which is regression model. And here we will be discussing about types of regression, multivariable regression, making predictions and simplifying with matrices. My teammates here will be Shaurya Raina, Neha Pandre, Divyangi Kole, Shrutika Shinde and Shraddha More. And the first one will be Shaurya Raina.
Hello everyone, my name is Shaurya Rana. I am from TIT BVCUAW and today we are going to discuss on the topic Introduction to Data Science, Regression and its Type from Unit 1. So let's start. We hear a lot about how AI and ML are going to change the world and how IoT will make everyone's life easier. But what's the one thing that underpins all of these technologies? The answer to this is data. From social media to IoT devices, for generating immeasurable amounts of data, we use data science. Now let's take an example. Let's consider the cab service provider Uber. I'm sure all of you must be familiar with Uber. What makes Uber a multi-billion dollar company? Is it the availability of cabs or is it their services? Well, the answer to this as well is data. Data makes them very rich. But wait, is data enough to grow the business? Of course, if we know how to use the data to draw useful insights to solve problems. This is where data science comes in. Data science is the process of using data to find solutions to predict outcomes for a problem statement. Now let's take a look at the user interface of the Uber riding app. You must have seen it before as well while using it. So I quickly open up the Uber app and look for the cabs. On a Monday morning at peak hours when everyone is rushing to work, we often check the Uber and look for cabs. But why are the prices so high, especially at this hour? Because everyone is using Uber at this time. So the higher demand in cabs leads to higher fares. Okay, but how is all this related to data science? I mean, data science is at the heart of Uber pricing algorithm. It ensures that the passengers always get a ride when they need one, even at the cost of inflated prices. Uber implements the data science to find out which neighborhoods will be the busiest so that it can activate search pricing algorithm to get more drivers on the road. In this manner, it over maximizes the number of rides it can provide and hence benefits from the Uber search pricing algorithm. Now, regression and classification. ML is machine learning and is divided into three categories: supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. So, basically, what is supervised learning? Supervised learning is when we teach and train the machine using data that is well labeled. We will learn about them later. So, supervised is basically divided into classification and regression. So basically, what is the difference between regression and classification? Classification is the task of predicting a discrete class label. For example, in our email system, we classify them into non-spam and spam. In a classification problem, data is classified into one or two or more classes. The two classes is called as binary and the one with the multiple class is called multiple class classification. Whereas regression, on the other hand, is the task of predicting a continuous quantity. Continuous quantity is the one that changes with the respect to the other variable. A regression problem requires the prediction of a quantity, and a regression problem with multiple input variable is called as multivariate regression problem. For example, stock price prediction. The price of stock changes with respect to time. Now, what is regression? Regression analysis is a form of predictive modeling technique which investigates the relationship between dependent and independent variable. And a regression analysis involves graphing a line over a set of data points that most closely fits the overall shape of the data. So, for example, you can ask questions like what is the strength of relationship between sales and marketing? And second is forecasting an effect. In this, regression can be used to forecast effects or impacts of changes. Third is trend forecasting. In this, regression forecast trends. For example, like what will be the price of Bitcoin in next 6 months. Now let's take a look at difference between linear and logistic regression. So basically, a data is modeled using a straight line in linear regression. Y is equals to mx plus c is the equation for the straight line. Whereas in logistic regression, the probability of some obtained event is represented as linear function of a combination of predictor variables. In linear regression, we use continuous variable, and in logistic regression, we use categorical variable. The output of the linear regression is basically the value of the variable, whereas in the logistic regression, the output of the value is the probability of occurrence of an event. The accuracy in linear regression is measured by loss or R, whereas the accuracy in logistic regression is measured by precision. The goodness of it is measured in linear regression by squared or adjusted R, whereas the goodness of fit in logistic regression is measured by F1 score or ROC score. Now, all this we will study briefly later in the MCQs. So, let's start with MCQs. Our first question is, data science is the process of diverse set of data through. Our options are organizing data, processing data, analyzing data, and all of the above. The answer to this is all of the above. So basically, what is data science? Is the process of deriving knowledge and insights from a huge and diverse set of data through organizing, processing, and analyzing the data. It extracts knowledge and insights from structured and unstructured data and applies knowledge and actionable insights from data across a broad range of application domains. Our next question is, which of the following approach should be used to ask data analysis question? The options to this is data cleaning, data integration, data replication, and all of the above. The answer to this is all of the above. Why? Let's check. Data cleaning, data transformation, and data reduction are steps of data pre-processing. And data pre-processing is the technique which is used to convert raw data into efficient format. So data cleaning deals with removal of irrelevant and noisy data. Since we have all the data now, it comes data analysis, which is used to analyze data and extract most actionable and relevant information to make informed decisions. Now our next question is, which of the following is the another name for raw data? The answer to this is eggy data. Why eggy data? Raw data sometimes is also called as sources or eggy with the reference to the data being uncooked or unprocessed raw egg. It's basically the data input for the processing. Our next question is, data mining is used to refer dash stage in knowledge discovery in database. The answer to this is discovery. Basically, data mining is also known as knowledge discovery in databases, which refers to non-trivial or significant extraction of implicit, whereas previously unknown and potentially useful information from data stored in databases. Our fifth question is, the difference between the actual y value and the predicted y value found using a regression equation is called what? The answer to this is residual. Let's take an example by looking at a graph where we have plotted some points. So here the graph is between height and weight. Height we have taken as x and weight we have taken as y. So here I measure someone in 60 inches tall and 100 weighs pound. So I have done this for total 9 people. I look it looks like there is roughly linear relationship here. Let's try to put a line that can approximate this trend. Now we need to find the best fit line. Best fit line is this line, which is also called as the regression line, and the equation for this is y equals to mx plus p. So one line cannot go through all the points. So there is going to be some difference for each point. And that difference between actual and predicted point is called as residual. So here height will be same, but weight will differ. So we find the residual with the help of weight. Here actual data point for weight is 100 and this is the predicted one. So we are going to find the residual with the help of weight. 100 minus 150, which is minus 50. And this is the residual for other person, which is going to be positive because it is on the upper side, whereas it's on the downward side. That's why it's going to be minus 50. Our next question is, which of the following methods do we use to find the best fit line for data in linear regression? We just saw right now in this question that what is the best fit line. But what is this method through which we can find the best fit line? So this method is called as least square error. The least square error is one of the most effective ways which is used to draw the line of the best fit. And it is based on the idea that the square of the errors obtained must be minimized to the most possible extent, and hence the name is least square error method. Our question 7 is, suppose you are training a linear regression model. Now consider these points. Overfitting is more likely if we have more data, and overfitting is more likely when hypothesis space is small. Which of the above statements are correct? The answer to this is first is true and second is false. Overfitting is more likely if we have more data. When a model, what is overfitting basically? When a model fits more data than its need, it starts catching noisy and inaccurate values in data. As a result of the efficiency of model decreases. Whereas in order to avoid overfitting, we can stop the training at earlier stage, which can lead to model not being able to learn enough from training data, leading underfitting. Our next question is, which of the following method is used for predicting continuous dependent variable? We have just read it earlier also. For predicting continuous variable, we use linear regression. So the answer to this is B. Linear regression is a method to predict dependent variable y based on the values of independent variable x. So it can be used for the cases where we want to predict some continuous quantity. For example, stock price prediction which varies over a period of time. So here time was independent, whereas on y-axis it was price which was changing with respect to time. So here stock price is dependent variable, and dependent variable for linear regression model is always continuous, so it's time. Time is independent variable. Now question 9 is, on logistic regression the goal is to predict what? The goal is to predict the odds of outcome of dependent variable. Logistic regression is basically a method which is used to predict a dependent variable given a set of independent variables such that the dependent variable is categorical. Categorical means a variable that can store outcomes such as 0 or 1 and yes or no and so on. For example, weather predictions. Is it going to rain today? So here odds are used to describe that what are the chances of outcome. Our last question is, logistic regression transforms the output probability to be in a range of 0 and 1. So which of the following is used by logistic regression to convert the probability in between the range 0 and 1? The answer to this is sigmoid. Basically, sigmoid function curve or the S curve converts any value from minus infinity or plus infinity or the values which are in binary format, that is 0 and 1. Let's take a look on this graph of logistic regression curve. This curve is the sigmoid curve and this is the threshold value. So this value indicates the probability of winning or losing. I hope you understand this whole PPT. Thank you for watching this PPT. Now, next person from my batch is Neha Pandare, and she will teach us about what helps us in making predictions, initializing weights, and cost functions. Thank you so much.
My name is Neha Pandey and I am from TIT department of BVCAW. Today we will discuss about making prediction, initial phase and cost function. So let us start. So linear regression is a supervised machine learning algorithm where the predicted output is continued at has a constant slope. It used to predict value within a continuous range like sales and price rather than to trying to classify them into categories like cat and dogs. So there are two main types of simple linear regression, that is simple regression and multilinear regression. So in simple regression, use traditional slope intercept form where m and b are the variable of our algorithm. We'll try to learn the produce the most accurate prediction. So x represent our input data and y represent our prediction. So y equal to mx plus b. Let us say we are given a data set with the following columns: how much a company spent on radio advertisement each year and annual sale in term of units sold. We are trying to develop an equation that we let us predict units sold based on how much companies spend on radio advertisement. The row represented company. Here is our chart. So making prediction. Our prediction function output an estimate sale given a company radio advertisement spend and our current value for weight and bias. So sale is equal to weight by c dot radio plus bias. So weight is the coefficient for the radio independent variable. In machine learning we call coefficient weight. Radio is the independent variable. In machine learning we call this variable feature bias. Bias is the intercept where our line intercept the y-axis. In a machine learning we can call intercept bias. Bias offset all prediction that we make. Our algorithm will try to learn to correct value for weight and bias by the end of our training. Our equation will approximate the line of the best fit. So here is a line of our regression. So x-axis is a radio and y-axis is a sale. Cost function. The prediction function is nice, but for our purpose we don't really need it. What we need is the cost function or loss function, so we can start optimizing our weight. Let us use MSC. MSC is a MSC is our cost function. MSC measure the average square difference between an observation, actual or predicted value. The output is a single number represented the cost or score associated with our current set of weight. Our goal is to minimize MSC to improve the accuracy of our model. So here is a calculation so here is our simple linear equation y equal to mx plus y. So we can calculate MSC as this formula. Next is initialize weights. So whenever you have a convex cost function, you are allowed to initialize your weight to zeros. The cost function of logistic regression and linear regression have a convex cost function. If you use MSE, that is mean square error, for also RSS, residual sum of squares. Linear regression and cross entropy for logistic regression. The main idea is that for convex cost function you will have just a single optimal point and it does not matter where you start. The start point just changes the number of epoch to reach to that optimal point, while the for neural network the cost function does not have just one optimal point. About random initialization, you have to consider that you are not allowed to choose a random weight which are too small or too big. Although the form of was a more significant problem, if you choose a random small weight, you may have a vanishing gradient problem which may lead to network that does not learn. Consequently, you have to use standard initialize method. So this is the code for initialize weights. So MCQ is the second step for estimation of cost function by using quantitative analysis is to correct option is choose independent variables because the second step for estimate of cost function by using quantitative analysis is choose to dependent variable. An independent variable is the variable that is changed for or controlled in a scientific experiment to test the effect on the dependent variable. Next MCQ is an estimation of relationship between one independent variable and predicted variable is known as a simple regression, because simple regression is a technique that is appropriate to understand the association between one dependent variable and one continuous dependent variable. In regression analysis, the dependent variable is denoted by y and the independent variable is denoted by x. Third MCQ is the goodness of fit predicted value is also known as B, the coefficient of determination, because the coefficient of determination is a key output of regression analysis. It is interpreted as a proportion of the variance in the dependent variable that is predicted from the independent variable. Fourth is the factor used to predict the dependent variable is named as the correct option is D, independent variable, because independent variable is the variable that is changed or controlled in a scientific experiment to test the effect on the dependent variable. Fifth is in a regression analysis, if the observed cost value is 62 and predicted cost value is 29, then the disturbance term would be the correct answer is C, because the disturbance term is equal to observed cost value minus predicted cost value. So 62 minus 29 is 33. So which of the following function provide unsupervised prediction? So answer is D, none of the above, because the unsupervised function is CL underscore predict function is clue package provide unsupervised prediction. Seventh is model based prediction consider relatively easy version of covariance matrix. So it is false, because model based prediction consider relatively easy version for covariance matrix. 8 is which of the following function can be used for forecasting? So forecast is a process of making prediction of the future based on past and present data and analysis for. So correct option is forecast. 9. It is necessary to set initial weights in perceptron conversion theorem to 0. So answer is no, because initial setting of weight doesn't affect perceptron conversion theorem. 10 is if EM denotes error for correction of weights, then what is the formula error in a perceptron learning model? So W in bracket m plus 1 is equal to mn plus n in bracket m bm minus sm bracket complete. AM is where bm is desired output, sm is actual output, and am is the input vector, and W denotes weight. So correct option is C. EM is equal to BM minus SM, because error is a difference between desired and actual output. Thank you so much. I hope you understand all PPT. Thank you for watching this PPT. Next person from my batch is Shraddha More, and she will teach us about gradient descent training, model evaluation. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Shraddha More and my topic is gradient descent. So let's begin with our topic. What is gradient descent? So gradient descent is an optimization algorithm which is mainly used to find the minimum of a function. In machine learning, gradient descent is used to update parameters in a model. Parameters can vary according to algorithms such as coefficient in learning regression and weights in neural network. Let us relate gradient descent with a real life analogy for better understanding. Think, okay, think of a valley you would like to descend when you are blindfolded. Any sane human will take a step and look for the slope of the value, whether it goes up or down. Once you are sure of the downward slope, you will follow that and repeat the step again and again until you have descended completely or reached the minima. Similarly, let us consider another analogy. Suppose you have a ball and you placed it on an inclined position at A. As per laws, it will start rolling until it travels to a gentle plane where it will be stationary at position B shown in the figure. This is exactly what happens in gradient descent. The inclined or irregular is the cost function when it is plotted, and the role of the gradient descent is to provide direction and velocity of the movement in order to attain the minima of the function, that is where the cost is minimum. So let's take a mathematical example. So we have function y is equals to x plus 5 bracket square. What we have to do here, there is a step number 1. Our step number 1 is to choose a random point, and let's say the first random point in our example is x is equals to minus 3, and then we have to find the gradient of the function, and the gradient of the function is derivative 2 into x plus 5 in brackets. So it is a very simple function. So we can calculate the derivative of this function by moving the degree of the arguments to the beginning between the brackets, and we have 2 multiplied by x plus 5, and dy by dx is equals to 2 into x plus 5 is our gradient of function. So let's take in step number 2. Move to step number 2. In this step, we have to move in the direction of the negative of the gradient. But how much to move? For that, we have to define a learning rate. And in our example, our learning rate is 0.01. So let's go to the step number 3. So here we are going to perform 2 iterations to understand how the gradient descent works. Means how the logic of gradient descent works. So let's begin with initialization of parameters. We have x0 is equals to minus 3, dy by dx is equals to 2 into x plus 5, and the learning rate is equals to 0.01. So let's start with the first iteration. We have x1 is equals to x0 minus learning rate into derivative dy by dx. So we get x1 is equals to minus 3 minus 0.01 into 2 into minus 3 plus 5. So this is our random point, this is our learning rate, and this is our derivative. So and we have result minus 3.04. Then we choose learning rate 0.01. We move in opposite direction by this step, and we have the next value x-axis equals to 3.04. Let's begin with iteration 2. So for this iteration number 2, we have to perform totally the same action as we did in iteration number 1. So we have a function x2. This is the second point in x-axis equals to x1. In the first iteration it was x0. Now we have to put x1 minus learning rate multiplied by the gradient. Put the correct values on the places. So x1 equals to minus 3.04 from the first iteration, minus learning rate is 0.01 multiplied by 2 into minus 3.04 plus 5. We have the second point in the x-axis by step of 0.01, and we have minus 3.0792. This is the next point from the second iteration. In order to reach global minimum, we must perform more iteration, and we have to perform exactly the same action for each iteration to get more values on the x-axis till we reach global or local minimum. So in this example, we have a global minimum x is equals to minus 5. uh, so hope you guys all understand what I teach. Uh, let's begin with our MCQ questions. First question is gradient descent is simply used to find the dash of the function's parameter. So the answer is value. Gradient descent is simply used to find the values of the function's parameter. A good way, second question is a good way to make sure gradient descent runs properly is by plotting dash as the optimization runs. So the answer is B, cost function. A good way to make sure gradient descent runs properly is by plotting the cost function as the optimization runs. So third question is gradient descent is an. So answer is iterative method. Gradient descent is an iterative method. Gradient descent, next question, gradient descent is one of the most popular and dashed use algorithm for training machine learning models. So answer is widely. Gradient descent is one of the most popular and widely used algorithm for training machine learning models. So next question is dash typically have parameter weights and biases and a cost function to evaluate how good a particular set of parameters are. The answer is machine learning models. Machine learning models typically have parameters, weights and biases, and a cost function to evaluate how good a particular set of parameters are. So next question is how many types there are in gradient descent? There are three types in gradient descent. So stochastic gradient is a type of gradient descent. True or false? Yes, it is true. Um, Question number 8. In machine learning, the dash is a function to which we are applying the gradient descent algorithm. The answer is cost function. In machine learning, the cost function is a function to which we are applying the gradient descent algorithm. So question number 9. Gradient descent algorithm helps us to make this dash efficiently and effectively with the use of derivatives. The answer is decision. Descent algorithm helps us to make decisions efficiently and effectively with the use of derivatives. Question number 10. Gradient descent is a dash iterative optimization algorithm for finding a local minimum for a differential function. So the answer is first order. Gradient descent is a first order iterative optimization algorithm for finding a local minimum of a differential function. So I hope you guys all understand what I teach. Thank you all. Our next topic will be covered by Shrutika Shinde.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Shrutika Shinde. I'm from IT department. So my today's topic is multivariable regression and growing complexity and normalization. So firstly, what is multiple regression? So multiple regressions are those models which maintain the relationships between dependent variables and independent variables. They can be used for many different purposes in daily life. For example, they can be used to identify the patient's procedural technique on a particular outcome, then patient's characteristics associated with an outcome that is often called as risk factors. Also, they can be used to give different treatment strategies between the groups, and also we can use them for develop to develop the risk prediction models. So there are basically three types of regressions, multiple variable regressions, that are linear regression, logistics, and Cox proportional hazards regression. So here we are going to discuss one example that how the multivariable regression we can use in the sales prediction. So we are using a data, we are given a data of TV, radio and newspaper which is advertising a list of companies, and our goal is to predict sales in terms of units. So here W1, W2 and W3 are the attributes, and X, Y and Z are the radio, TV and the news. So this is the table where we are given certain units of companies like Amazon, Google, Facebook, Apple, and we have given here the attributes TV, radio, and news. So next, what happens is while calculating these attributes, we grow into a complexity. As number of features are more, so the complexity of the model becomes uh, quite complexity of the model increases, and then due to this it becomes difficult to visualize the data. So for that we break the data into parts, and we compare the features. So here we are comparing radio and TV investment impacts on the sales. There is one more method, that is normalization. So uh, again we can decrease that we can solve the problem by doing the normalization. So normalization, what we do is we calculate the which gradients, and then we normalize the data to ensure that all values are having a certain range. So we give a certain range to the data sets. So the data sets with high standard deviations differs in the ranges of attributes. So first our goal will be to normalize the feature so we can get the predicted output. So next we are moving on to multiple choice questions, that is the MCQs related to regression. So first is regression analysis with two or more independent variables or at least one nonlinear predictor is referred to as what? So with two or more independent variables or at least one nonlinear predictor is what? That is the multiple regression analysis which we are doing right now. So multiple regression is what? It is related to simple regression only. So it is used when we want to predict a value. So whenever we want to predict a value of a variable, or when we want to predict the value of a variable based on another two or more variables, then we use multiple regression as the variable they want to predict, or they want to predict the dependent variables. Next, which one of the following is true regarding residuals in regression analysis? So in regression analysis, there is residuals, mean of residuals is what it is between it is the difference between the dependent variables and the predicted value, that is the residual. So each data point has what? One residual. So residual is given by the equation E equals to y minus y hyphen both sum and the mean of the residuals are equal to 0, that is residual is observed value minus the predicted value. Next, in regression analysis, the variable that is being predicted is the which variables. In regression analysis, which variables are predicted. So those are what? Those are the dependent, or we can say the response variables. So what are those variables? The response or dependent variables are those whose variation depends on what? Whose variation depends on other variables. The response variable is often related to the independent variable. Also, it can be denoted by as an explanatory variable. Next is in case of multiple regression, the dash is the proportion of variation in dependent variables that is explained by the combination of independent explanatory variables. So that is what coefficient of multiple regression. So what is coefficient of multiple regression? It is a measure, statistical measure in the regression model that determines the proportion of variance in the dependencies the dependent variable which can be explained by the independent variables. Coefficient of determination tells us how data can be fit into the model. Next, in a simple linear regression model, that is one independent variable, if we change the input variable by 1, how much the output variable will change. So the output variable, it is denoted by its slope. So for simple regression, y equals to a plus bx is the slope. So if we increase the value by 1, then value of y, that is, would be a plus b of x plus 1, that is, value of y will also be incremented by b. So thank you. This is
Hello everyone, this is Divangi from IT. My topic is simplifying with matrices, bias term, variance from Unit 5. Let's see simplifying with matrices. Matrix is a way of writing similar things together to handle and manipulate them as per our requirements easily. In data science, it is generally used to store information like weights in an artificial neural network while training various algorithms. You will be able to understand my point by the end of this article. Technically, a matrix is a 2D array of numbers. For example, look at the matrix A below. In this matrix, there are 3 rows and 3 columns. Generally, rows are denoted by I and columns are denoted by J. The elements are indexed by ith row and jth column. Matrix algebra is in a number of areas of machine learning field are optimization and cost functions are based on matrix algebra. Now let us see the MCQs on simplifying with matrices. Which of the following is not a type of a matrix? Term matrix. Answer D. Term matrix is not a type of a matrix in a linear algebra because square matrix is a type of a matrix. Scalar matrix is also a type, and trace matrix is also a type of a matrix. Square matrix means number of rows which equal to number of columns. Scalar matrix is all the diagonal elements are same, and trace of a matrix is sum of all the diagonal elements in a square matrix is a trace of a matrix. So term matrix is not a type of a matrix in a linear algebra. Second question, suppose that price of 2 balls and 1 bat is 100 units, then what will be representation of a problem in linear algebra in the form of x and y? Here we can consider x be the price of 1 ball and y be the price of 1 bat. Now in this equation there are 2 balls, so 2x, and 1 bat, so y. Now 2x plus y equal to 100 is the equation for the given condition. Third MCQ, which of the following is correct method to solve matrix equation? Row echelon form and inverse of a matrix are the two methods to solve matrix equation. What is true regarding determinant of a matrix? The answer is A. The concept of determinant is applicable to square matrices only. Like we can find determinant only when the number of rows are equal to number of columns. Hence the condition is true. Now fifth MCQ, which of the following is false? The answer is B. Row matrix is a consisting only of columns is false. Row matrix is consisting only of rows. Now sixth MCQ is the matrix which is the sum of all diagonal elements of a square matrix is trace of a matrix. Now whenever we are finding trace of a matrix, we are adding the elements of the diagonal in a square matrix. So trace of a matrix is the answer. Now the next topic is bias term. In data science, bias is an error introduced in your model due to oversimplification of machine learning algorithm. It can lead to underfitting. When you train your model at the time, model makes simplified assumptions to make the target functions easier to understand. Low bias machine learning algorithms, decision tree, KNN, and SVM high bias machine algorithms are linear regression and logistic regression. Now let's see some MCQs on bias term. First MCQ is true or false. In a native Bayes algorithm when an attribute value in the testing record has no example in the training set, then the entire posterior probability will be 0. Answer is true. Explanation for this: since for a particular value in the attribute, the probability will be 0 due to the absence of an example present in the training dataset. This usually leads to the problem of zero probability in the native Bayes algorithm. Second question: how do we perform Bayesian classification when some features are misvalued? Answer is C. We integrate the posterior probabilities over the missing features. Explanation: here we don't use general methods to handling missing values. Instead, we integrate the posterior probability over the missing features for better prediction. Third MCQ: in the native Bayes algorithm, suppose that prior for class W1 is greater than class W2, would the decision boundary shift towards the region R1, region for deciding W1, or towards region R2, region for deciding W2? Now answer is towards region R2. Explanation: upon shifting the decision boundary towards region R2, we preserve the prior probabilities proportion since prior for W1 is greater than W2. Which of the following statement is false in the case of KNN algorithm? Answer is C. KNN is used only for classification problem statement. We can use KNN for both regression and classification problem statement. In classification, we use the majority class based on the value of K, while in regression, we take an average of all points and then give the predictions. Now next topic is variance. Variance is a numerical value that shows how widely the individual figures in a set of a data distribute themselves about the mean and hence describe the difference of each value in the data set from the mean value. So if we have zero variance in a data set, we can state that all the values in it are identical. More variance states the more spread of a distribution away from the mean, and lower variance state less spread of a distribution away from mean. But the variance can never be negative. Variance is calculated by finding the square of the standard deviation of a variable and the covariance of the variable with itself as represented by the function. Here is the formula for finding variance. Now let's see some MCQs on variance. Which of the following of a random variable is measure of a spread? Answer is A. Variance. Explanation: densities with a higher variance are more spread out than densities with lower variance. Second MCQ: the square root of the variance is called the standard deviation. Standard deviation is the measure of spread of the numbers in a set of data from its mean value. Third MCQ: which of the following is correct formula for total variation? Answer is B. Total variation is equal to residual variation plus regression variation. Explanation: the complementary part of the total variation is called unexplained or residual. Fourth MCQ: point out the wrong statement. The fraction of variance unexplained is an established concept in the context of a linear regression. Second, explained variance is routinely used in principal component analysis. Third, the general linear model extends simple linear regression SLR by adding terms linearly into the model. And fourth is none of the mentioned. The answer is none of the mentioned. Explanation: linearity refers to a mathematical relationship or a function that can be graphically represented as a straight line. Now fifth MCQ is multivariate regression estimates are exactly those having removed the linear relationship of the other variable from both the regressor and response. The answer is true. Multivariate data analysis refers to any statistical technique used to analyze data that arises from more than one variable. Thanks.